Hi, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to Tammy Vision, where we talk about film, television, acting, writing, and where I create short stories, short films, and series. So if you follow me across social media, then you know that I'm an actor and a writer, and ultimately I consider myself a storyteller. I love to tell stories. So almost a year ago, I created a series called Charm City. And when I released the series, I released 5 of 10 episodes, and I released them with the months in between. And I think it was because, I know it was because I underestimated the time that it would take. Well, no, let me be correct. I knew the amount of time that it would take to shoot the characters, film the scenes, to edit and put it all together, but I underestimated my time and my capability in doing so. I'm a person that usually overfills my plate, and then I challenge myself to be able to tackle it. And a lot of times I'm able to tackle it, but there are times where I am not. So with that being said, if you do follow me across social media, then you know that I'm pretty much a one-woman show. As of now, I don't have the luxury of hiring other actors or hiring a team, and just time-wise, it's very hard for me with my busy schedule to coordinate time to get up with other actors. So I've pretty much been doing all of this by myself. So with creating a show like this and playing all of the parts, number one, it's very hard to do because a lot of times when you see one person playing multiple characters, you often see it in comedy. You don't see it in drama as much. And if you do see it in drama, you really have to make sure you're very grounded so that it doesn't come off as gimmicky or over the top. So I knew that within itself would be a challenge for me. And then just having to be very distinctive, just making sure that I give each character their time, giving each character their personality, their own wardrobe, even coming down to the colors that they wore. I had to be very distinctive, and I had to separate them because I wanted you guys to see the characters individually. And even though I was playing all the parts, I wanted you to be so immersed into the story that you forgot or you didn't notice that one person is playing all the parts. So I knew that this was going to be challenging and be a big task, but I challenged myself, and I'm not the kind of person that backs down from challenges. So with that being said, I am going to relaunch this series. Now that all 10 episodes have been shot, I'm going to relaunch this series and release episodes weekly with an extra behind the episode video to go with each episode like this one. And that was the goal all along, but along the way, I just wasn't able to manage my time the way I thought I would be. And I'm very passionate about my work, and I'm very passionate about this project. So I do want to give it its proper launch. So what is Charm City about? Charm City is about 3 small town girls who are all in need of a desperate change, who move to Atlanta, Georgia in pursuit of this coveted position at this prestigious fashion magazine company. But only one can get the job, and who will get the job, and what will they do to get the job? So in each episode, you see their pursuit of this position and why they are pursuing the position and their individual journeys along the way. So how did I come up with Charm City? So Charm City is loosely based off some experiences in my life. I'm also from a small town, and I moved to a big city to pursue my dream of acting, but it also came from me growing up watching films like Devil Wears Prada and TV shows like Gossip Girl. I have always, first of all, I love television and movies in general, but one genre that I have always gravitated towards was the Gossip Girl, the Devil Wears Prada, the fashion company where you have the overbearing boss and the anxious assistant who's running out to get their coffee and trying to make a name for themselves in the fashion world. I've always gravitated and thought that those kind of movies and shows were very fun, but I didn't really see a lot of me reflected in those shows. Those are movies and shows that I would have loved to be cast on or worked on as a writer or in some capacity. So I knew that when I made a decision to start creating content, that I would create a show of some sort reflecting this. So now let's get inside the episode. So episode 1 is called Ultimatum. And if you watch episode 1, then you will know why it is called Ultimatum. So the episode opens with Charm, and Charm is the main character. And as you can see, her name is inside the title, Charm City. So the episode opens with Charm, and she learns from her mother that they are losing the house. And Charm is very upset by this information. She's also upset that her mother has known this information for a while and has kept it from her. And it's also kind of dynamic to see the mother not being very upset about this information, because for anyone losing their home or losing a house, that's very rough or that's very hard. But as you can see, Charm's mother is kind of almost excited by the information. And I believe that is because if you look at Charm's character, and you can kind of see this in episode 1, Charm is a very quiet character, very cerebral. What I do like about Charm, she thinks before she speaks. Something that I try to practice to do, but it's very hard and that I forget to do, or that we all can forget to do at times. And you'll see throughout the series, she has a way of thinking before she speaks. She's very methodical. She's very analytical. She likes to think things through before she makes a decision or before she reacts. But in episode 1, you do see that she is visibly upset about this information. And we kind of get a glimpse of who Charm is. Her mother has kind of mentioned in the episode that Charm is a genius, that she's a child prodigy, that she may have been a very precocious child, but for some reason, instead of pursuing her dreams of being a fashion designer, pursuing her passion in fashion, she's working at the local grocery store, and she's staying very close to home. She's very close to her mother, as if she doesn't want to leave her for some reason. So we do know that Charm is dealing with some sort of trauma, and the mother has mentioned that Charm has lost her father. So we do see that in episode 1, and we also get the news that her mother did sign her up for the internship. Charm did get accepted into this internship. So whether Charm likes it or not, her life is changing and there's nothing she can do about it. So now let's move on to Avery. Now we meet Avery in the strip club. We learn that Avery is a bartender, and we kind of get a feel for Avery. What I like about Avery is that she's a little rough around the edges. She's a little temperamental, but she's also very smart and very strategic. And a lot of times when you see characters like Avery, you know, she works at a strip club, she can often be misjudged or she can be looked down upon. But what I do like about Avery, although she works in a strip club and she doesn't judge strippers or working in a strip club, she is very adamant about standing her position and standing her ground. And we see that when she is talking to one of the lead strippers, Strawberry. Strawberry is trying to get her to be a dancer for the night. What you kind of get a hint of in episode 1, Avery does not, or should I say, Avery has some sort of paranoia about working at a strip club and being sucked into being a stripper or being sucked into that world and not being able to come out. I get a sense of Avery in this episode that she likes money. She likes fast money. She's not the 9-to-5 girl. Avery is more of a hustle type mentality. I need a side hustle here. I need a side gig here. I need money in big amounts and I need it fast. And we will see throughout the series why Avery is that kind of girl that needs that money, that quick, fast money. But going back to Avery and the stripper situation, we do see, like I said, Strawberry tries to get Avery to be a stripper for the night because they're short on dancers. And for some reason, this triggers Avery and she just snaps. And she also does something else that I won't mention, but if you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. She does something that she knows at this point she's no longer working at the club and she no longer can go back to the club. And last but not least, we have Blasi. Now, I love a bougie character. I love a bad and bougie character. I love the Hillarys of Fresh Prince. I love the Whitley Gilberts of A Different World. I love a Blair Waldorf of Gossip Girl. So that's kind of part of Blossie's personality. She's very wealthy. She has a lot of money. She comes from a family of prestige, a family of wealth. She's never had to long for money. She's never needed for anything. She was born with a silver spoon. But when we meet Blossie, we meet her in an upscale restaurant where she can't afford to pay for her dinner. And she's going through all of her credit cards where all of them are getting declined. With that, we soon learn that her father has cut her off financially. So we have this prominent, wealthy, rich daddy's girl where we kind of can see that her identity up to this point has kind of been all about her wealth and her daddy's money, that she really hadn't had an identity outside of that, or she hasn't had maturity outside of that. So we get to see her abruptly find out that she has been cut off. Her dad has not only cut her off financially, he's kind of iced her out. Now, we don't know why this has occurred, but nevertheless, this has occurred. And Blossie is very interesting to me because we see her being in a very small percentage of the world that's, very wealthy, very well taken care of. She hasn't really had to worry about much financially. And those characters are interesting to me because although those people or those characters don't worry about much financially, it makes me wonder what else is going on in their life, because money and wealth can only cover so much. When you take away all the jewels and the diamonds and all of the designer clothes, what do we have left? So now we have these three girls, these three young ladies who are all faced with a present dilemma, an urgent ultimatum in which they must make a decision. They are forced to make a change. They cannot look back. That life that was there is no longer. They cannot go back to how it was. And I think that this is a nod to complacency. A lot of times we get caught up in a rhythm of life. We become very complacent and we get so attached to what is familiar, or we get so comfortable with what is familiar versus what is different that could be better. So I feel that this episode touches on when you don't make a necessary change, how life has a way of forcing you to do so. And I read a quote the other day that said, change before you have to. So from here, their journey begins. We get to see their journeys individually and their journeys together. And we get to see how it all unfolds. So the question for today is, what is a time or a moment in your life where you were complacent and life forced you to make a change? And out of the three main characters, whose backstory do you resonate with the most and why? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in episode 2.